Welcome to Catholic Views, where we get to know the faith and those who live it. I'm your host, Renee Kranz. We get another Sunday of all Chris Bergwald.
All the time.
All the time. We have Dr. Chris Bergwald here in the studio. We are going to do some biblical bites with Dr. B. And then we're going to talk about living moral teachings. Why do we separate our faith lives from our regular lives? Because we pretty much all do this sometime in our lives. Even those of us who work for the church probably didn't work for the church all the time. So there have been times when we probably have done this. So we're going to talk about that, why we do it, how not to do it, some different things like that. This is really applicable to like everybody's life. So I hope you'll stick around for that. Dr. B, would you please give us some biblical bites first?
Sure.
Okay.
So Renee, what's today?
Well, today is the Epiphany.
Right, but it's the 5th of January, not the 6th.
Yeah, so that's really that confuses me.
If you watched last week's episode, Renee was very sneaky.
I had to find out which Sunday.
Yeah, so traditionally, Epiphany is celebrated on January 6th, the 12th day of Christmas.
Right.
Because, again, the 12 days of Christmas are the 12 days after this Christmas, not before.
Right.
So the 6th of December traditionally was the date. Has traditionally
6th
been
of
the
January.
date. Sorry, yes, the 6th of
Okay.
January is traditionally when we celebrate the Epiphany. But the church, because she wants us to be able to celebrate this feast, transfers it to usually the second Sunday after Christmas.
Okay.
Usually.
Okay.
If not always, actually. So in this case, it got bumped up a day to today, the 5th.
So if you have Christmas on a Sunday, you're going to have 2 weeks from there till Epiphany.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
But the Christmas season goes to the baptism of the Lord. Remember, so
Right,
some
right.
people, So
Right.
it's
Keep your trees up,
you
people.
got to the baptism of the Lord, which I think is next Sunday. This year.
October 21st. I'm sorry, no.
Some
We're
people
taking
might
our trees down way
might
too
do that.
early.
If I take it down, just leave it up.
Yeah, really.
Then you have to put it up again. So today's the Epiphany, and again we're in year.
See.
And the gospel, therefore, is from
Luke.
except for today.
Oh.
So, do you remember what the Epiphany is all about?
It's about the wise men coming to see Jesus whenever that happened.
And
I'm alluding to something.
you are indeed. So, where do we read about the wise men / kings / magi?
I'm going to guess Matthew.
You are correct.
Okay.
Yep. So,
So wait.
Yeah,
It was
please.
Matthew, and Matthew is very specific about things. Why wasn't he more specific about how old Jesus was?
presumably because it doesn't really matter.
Okay. Because otherwise he would
What are you
be.
talking about, Renee? I don't. You're you keep making these illusions.
I know,
that are
I'm
just,
sorry. I'm getting ahead of you.
No. So I would actually. So what are you? Because you're familiar with some of the
Well, 'cause-
details that we take for granted. That actually, well, hold on.
Right. Because it's more likely that the wise men did not come right after Jesus was born.
Right.
It's more likely that it was like he was 2-ish years old.
Why do you say that?
Because the Herod wanted to get rid of Jesus, and his order was to kill all children 2 years or younger.
Yes.
And there'd be no reason to do that if he was just born,
Correct.
except that you hate children.
Right. Yeah. So there are we and the reason why. So we've got.
No, the wise men aren't
wise
there
men
yet.
aren't
I
there yet.
forgot.
They should have been.
I'm so sorry.
So the term in Greek is Magi.
Mm-hmm.
Some translations say Magi. So they came, we're told, from the east. So they seem to be maybe astronomers, maybe astrologers. They're pagans. They're Gentiles. Right. And they took note of something in the sky, some star that may have been miraculous because it seems to move.
Right.
I mean, what star is over my house and does
Yeah.
it stay over my? So it does seem to be miraculous. But this is the story of these three magi who tradition has said, and it's not necessarily contradicted by Scripture, but it's not directly said by Scripture. Tradition has said that they're wise men and or kings. We don't know that in fact. It might very well be.
Right.
But they come at some point to Bethlehem, to the house where Jesus was. And he was not necessarily, probably wasn't newborn, but
Right.
you never know.
Right.
But may have been as old as 2. The significance, though, of this, they come with the three gifts: gold, frankincense, and myrrh.
Yeah.
Why these three gifts? We don't know what was in their head, but there is great symbolism in these three gifts. The gold speaks to his royal status, king, baby king, but king. Frankincense, you use incense in worship.
Yeah.
So it's actually a hint, whatever they're thinking, at his divinity.
Yeah.
And myrrh is used for another number of purposes, but one of them is with a dead body, preparing it for burial.
Right.
Already a foreshadowing of what's going to happen 33-ish years later in his death. The big thing, though, is these are Gentiles who bring it. So Epiphany means manifestation. This solemnity is about an early foreshadowing that Jesus came not for the Jewish people alone, but for Gentiles, that is for all people as well. It's good news for Jew and Gentile alike.
Yeah, it's good news indeed. Thanks, Dr. B.
You bet.